Right, a very good morning. You're watching the Kokoliriko on West Nile Television. My name is Federick Dramadri. Most welcome. Today is the 8th of December 2023. And we're left with a few days. That is it 22 days? Yeah, 22 days to clock 2024. So that is a very big calculation. We should be counting down and also looking at what we should be able to do in our homes. This is the show that comes every Monday to Friday. Today is the Friday's edition, and we are in the vibe of coming to weekend. A lot of things are happening, and also you should be aware that over the weekend a lot of things happen, and also many people sometimes mismanage the resources on that on those 2 days, and that is where really many need to really look at what are their priorities in their homes and so on. First of all, when you are budgeting a lot of especially to utilize resources, you need to first of all look at what were the priorities you set, and also before you move further to overspend, especially in terms of money, in terms of fuel and so on, because many times people feel like over the weekend I can use the bike and ride anywhere and go and see whatever I want to see without any planning. So that is also another challenge that maybe takes you to deficit. But those who are watching us within our city, we say thank you very much. You should be able to be concentrating and also preparing to go for work. But also those who are watching us from other districts, talk about Arua district, Terego, Mariokolo, Maracha, Koboko, and Yumbe district. We say this is the greater West Nile, capturing Pakwach, Zombo, and Nebi. This is upper West Nile. But also look at downstream, talk about the people from Yumbe, Obongi, and also Moyo, and then Juman. Those are the lower belts of a West Nile region, and that's why it is called the Northwestern region, and that is still in West Nile region. And that's why the police has decided to split them in that manner. This is to capture the overwhelming issues of security and also many other issues that always come. You know, the upper side is actually bordering the Democratic Republic of Congo, and the lower side is mostly capturing the South Sudanese and also parts of Kenya, and that's where really many think that it should be the way to go. And it's not for other purposes, but for easy security management, and that's why we have another leadership of security down there, and also up in up here we also have another regional security head office, and that's the beauty of how West Nile is being designated. But also, if you're watching us from other parts of this country, talk about those from Choli and Lango sub-regions, we say thank you very much, and this is the only show that you'll be able to know what is happening where, and also really be able to be inspired to do something for yourself, and also be able to target what opportunities are available for you to also be able to get here. And if you want to advertise with us, it's an open check. You can easily come to the station and also be able to share with them and how your business will be able to run on the television and many other things that you'll be able to get. Those who are from eastern side, we say thank you very much. You should be able to be preparing yourself to do a lot of things for yourself. But also, I've seen a lot of people already venturing into shopping. That's very good. And for business persons, we should be able to tap those opportunities. And you should not be now selling other hardcore things. You should be now venturing into clothes, and then talk about shoes, talk about even hardware materials. Many are building houses. They are targeting dry season and so on. I'm sure business should be going very well. And then those from Central and Western, we say thank you for joining us, and we appreciate your time, and also all the time being with us here, sharing with us a lot of things, and most importantly, sharing your comments. They are very important, and also telling us where you're watching us from is very important. We'll be able to appreciate that, and also be able to project some of these comments that will be sharing with us, and we'll have a lot that we'll be discussing here. I'm not alone in the studios. I'm with Peace or Chuck, that is aka Jalusiga. Hey, Chief.
Yes, Federick.
You're most welcome.
Thank you very much. Good morning.
Good morning.
And good morning to everyone who is viewing West Nile TV. In a local way, you say each and everyone who is watching West Nile television. Happy weekend. It's the start of the weekend.
For the first time, let me give you a chance to greet people in the local language. Can you say something?
I don't know which local
language. Because people want to understand. Which language you understand best?
I don't know which language.
Because many times our people from Lango and the Cholsa regions, they want to hear that language, but you are always here. You keep quiet. Even those from Greater Navy, some of them want to listen to that.
The fact is, I'm a linguist. I don't know which language to start
now,
with.
You share with us the few you know.
Okay, for purpose of time.
You welcome them. Just welcome.
No, the simple thing is, for the purpose of time, I was supposed to use all of them, but since A is the first,
one.
A is the first in the alphabetical order, I'll just use one. That is Alur.
Okay.
Where should I start?
I want to hear.
Okay, you start in English, I'll be translating.
Okay, those from Walusa region, I am most welcome. We are here with the Kokoliriko show. We'll be taking you up to the hour of 9 a.m.
Yes, please. Dado sheke magiwin wakodi Alur, awachutie Ajola, West Nile TV, Yumi Kokoliriko, Chako kubang chenka sachel, chenka sabish, sawa ashel miko bueno, paka sawa adek. You Yaterua, the Jola, Utie Federick, Dramadri.
Okay, that is it. Everybody, Viniva Never, Carla, Ntuntundangu, Mani, Uganda, Malia, de Miami, Odru Gorosi, Amadia, Azia, Sadiala, Michona Fu, Azinga, Sadi Malia, Ama, Sorry Malia, de Peace or Chuck, man. Okay, you see that?
As Federick Dramadri.
Okay, there are a number of issues that we'll be discussing. This tragedy that actually happened last month where a man was allegedly found to have taken her wife for sacrifice in DRC, and the body arrived in Yarua yesterday, and a lot of issues have been around this issue. And I remember when this husband was arrested, mobs descended, they wanted to kill him, and also police had to intervene in. But now the issue has gone somewhere, and post-mortem was done yesterday. A lot of issues in this. We'll be discussing something about that. But also many other issues that are happening across the country. We have seen the issues to do with the Balalo harassment, the eviction, and also transportation is on. And this is the last date today. What is it that is still remaining as a hiccup in this? We'll be also diving into that, but also many other issues. But most importantly, the issue of the IG report that they have collected only 3.6 billion out of 1 point something trillion that is being swindled through corruption every year. And that is one thing we'll be really diving into, understanding what is it actually that is making the recovery very slow, and also how do we make sure that the anti-corruption agencies are able to at least do something better to make sure that at least we recover half of the money, other than really leaving majority in the hands of the Kaguns who are eating the money. And that is what we'll be discussing here. Many other stories that are happening across the country or across the world, we'll be also bringing them as they pop in. And many of you who are watching us now, it is a festive season. Peace. What do you make of the festive season? What are you observing in the town here? Yes.
Yes, thank you. When talking about festive season, we are talking about month of spending, not necessarily earning. Though some people will be earning, but majority of the locals or the majority of the nationals, they're after spending money after money, because you find at the start of the year, someone will be having that urge that at least during this festive season, I need to buy something, I need to eat good food, I need to get good dressings. And by the way, that is one advantage children always have. If your parents doesn't buy you things during this festive season, then I don't know when you're going to achieve. If you look at the markets right now, there's a lot of congestion. The market is booming, business are going high and high, people are making profits. And as it was maybe before, when we were still growing up, we used to, by this time of the month, you'll see quarrels, fightings, and the morale will be high. But things are changing, and the children are also getting to know how the economies are running. It's not all that active as it used to be. But also, leaving aside that one, issues of transport, it is also increasing. People are moving up and down, left and right. They're trying to shift from one place to another. Some of us who are always in the city, who are always in towns, we are also running to go and feel the village experience. So those are the advantages. And you know, festive seasons, it is the only time of the year whereby you see people gathering together and partying as one family, meaning it is a good one in terms of unity. These are some of the few things, plus so other more that are happening as far as that is the festive season is concerned. But also, there are some negatives, rate of accidents, criminality cases, all these things will come as a result of festive season. But it comes down to you as individual. How will the season leave you? Will it leave you alive? Will it leave you with something in the pocket? Don't forget, let one day not spoil the rest of your life.
Okay, let one day not spoil the rest of your life, and that is a very powerful message we should be able to take seriously, because really your safety is in your hands. Health is your priority. You should be able to channel that. Whether you are knocked, whether whatever, or you overdrink, it comes to your health. Okay, nobody will be the one facing or feeling the pain. It is you who takes the lead in feeling the pain, because so you should be able to look at that as a serious matter to yourself. Your safety matters first. And also peace. There's this big issue that is actually happening. We saw that the government of Uganda, under the leadership of the NRM government, that is His Excellency Yoweri Museveni Kaguta, has taken toll in ensuring that the persons with disability are given priority in this country. And yesterday we were commemorating the International Day of the Persons with Disability for Terego District. That was in Odupi Sub-County, down in Terego District. And a lot of issues are in this kind of activities. We see many of these groups not really utilizing the grants that have been given to them by the government, but also looking at these other livelihood interventions. Talk about the Paris development model, talk about the Mioga, talk about youth livelihood, where everyone is entitled to benefit. And specifically zeroing on the persons with disabilities. Let's look at how the implementation or the management of these grants is like. There is one grant that is called the special grant that has been turned to be the district grants, where every year, every financial year, 2 million is advanced to the districts, and this is supposed to cater for the facilitation of the special grants, where the special grant it comes like a block figure, and 5 million is given to every sub-county to ensure that they disperse these monies to the persons with disabilities for their projects, either piggery, either goat rearing, chicken, and many others, even art and crafts. So those are things that are being really channeled. But you realize that most of these monies, once they reach the persons with disabilities, that is where you see the groups disintegrating. That's where you see there's nothing like, because it is not alone, there's nothing like recovery. Nobody bothers about whether these monies are being utilized well, whether they drink, whether they do what is actually really seen to be frustrating the efforts of government. Peace. What do you make of this? Because we have seen persons with disabilities complaining every time, saying that their government has left them out. Even in PDM, they are given only 10%, which is very small, and so on. And yet they have another solid money that comes. You just pocket. You pocket and invest in your activities. There's nothing like recovery, and nothing like loan. What do you make of this? Has government done the best in terms of inclusion and also channeling the activities of persons with disability in this country? Let's start from there.
Federick, I will say the government is trying its best, though it is not to the percentages or to the level that they expect, that is the persons with disability. At first, as I have stated it clearly, they used to be involved, that is with the ordinary persons, these other ones, but they were segregated so much they had to cry to the government, and right now they have the special needs grant, as I have said, and that thing specifically, is for persons with disability, and we ask ourselves, even if it is small, how and why are they not benefiting? It goes down to the level of leadership they have. You go to the local levels, go to the sub-county levels, you find there are persons with disabilities, but I still ask myself, do they have associations? Do they have like a real organized associations? Because you'll find there are very many people who are physically disabled or they have other forms of disability, but they're not under the associations. And you ask yourself, why? Because we know the country, that is Uganda, right now, the government is not giving something maybe direct to pocket. Maybe they don't make a direct link with someone. Everything is coming as a group under association. How strong is the foundation? How obvious or how regional do they meet to discuss issues affecting them? Because we have seen most of them are isolated. But now, how are they making good use of the funds? If possible, as I've said, you have to form associations whereby they can first invest, then they start giving it one by one. And it all goes down to the leadership, as I stated. They are the ones to do the right follow-ups of how the program or how the project is being implemented. And if possible, why can't they propose that maybe you have to start this kind of business? And one thing which is affecting these implementations very well, the persons, they don't believe in themselves. Most of the persons with disability, they feel like for them, they are unable to do what others can do. But I like one thing. If you go to the villages, there are some persons with disabilities or the PWDs who are doing what they feel they can do best. You find others are engaging themselves in agriculture. They're doing it physically. And those are the kinds of people to be supported. Are they getting the right support? Automatically, some of them are not getting the right support they need. But the monies are going to other people who may not be able, that is, to use the money properly. And we have been discussing this kind of things. Who are the beneficiaries you are trying to support? Are you supporting someone who is having zero, or you are at least supporting someone who is having something? So those are the things to be considered. But in general, right now the government is trying to support those people, not as it used to be, whereby they were first engaged or involved within these other people. We all know people still have the mindset of that persons with disability, they can't do much as far as development is concerned, of which that is not something in real. It is just a myth. It's a belief that those people, they can't do what others can do. But according to me, they can also do what these other people can do because they have big investments, move around town. You find, even if they're not involved directly, at least they have employed some people who are doing some of these things for them. And also let them believe in themselves that they can do something. Let them use the little the government is giving them so that they can benefit from some of these projects or programs.
Okay, low self-esteem is one thing that is actually frustrating most of the efforts, or that is derailing the talents of these persons with disabilities. We've seen many who are not even digging, who are not even keeping animals, but are able to use their talent to make money. You have seen around the streets of Arua town, who is always plucking the adungus around there with his legs. And there's another one around the Oluko Road, where you find him all the time. He's making round kicks at the roadside and so on. Many people gather and they contribute a lot of money to them. So it is you to actually show what you have. Because the type of disability, maybe when you were born with, God knows how you are going to earn your living. True. So you should be able to come out and showcase your talent. Tell people that I have this. And people will be able to appreciate it, just like those ones. They are able to feed their families. But let's come back to the issue of the special grants and the national grant. Let's go back to how these people were actually identified. You have seen cases of many of these beneficiaries benefiting over the time, and yet there are other people who have not benefited once. And you see that the monies are already reducing each and every time, and you realize that the special grant used to be also like 20 million, it has come up to 2 million, and they are also phasing it out next financial year. This is what we are getting. So what do you think could be done? Because really identifying beneficiaries, the same person who bought goats last financial year, whose goats you cannot see, is again benefiting this financial year. How do we bridge that kind of gap? What is it that is actually not really seen to be right in this type kind of thing? We've seen most of the sub-county chiefs saying that they know what IG will be interested in following them is whether the money has reached the beneficiaries. So once they release it to the beneficiaries, how they manage it, it is their problem. Now, those statements coming from technocrats is something that is actually not really good. That means people are given money when they are not guided. People are given money when these monies are not really followed up, whether the projects that were advanced are being the right ones that have been implemented under the monies. And that's why you see a lot of persons with disability continue to be vulnerable until really the time of their death. Because really you have not guided them. Majority of them do not go to school. And because they have seen the money coming just like that, it is just like rain pouring. When rain is, is dropping down, nobody bothers to collect it. If you don't bother to collect it, you will not use it for other purposes other than it going direct to the soil. But also, so that is one thing. Maybe from the identification, have you ever seen any loophole in this kind of thing?
Thank you. Federick, it goes back to the community the persons with disabilities are living in. How are they nurtured? How are they grown up? Most of them, when there may be a family is having someone who is not physically fit, who is having disability, most times the discrimination, the segregation starts right from the family. If a child is born with disability, we have seen in most cases, it is the parents who always leave those children aside. When it comes to education, as I've said, most of them are not educated. Why? Because it is the parents. How do they consider these people? Do they mind about their future? Do they really think that those are the people? If you, as a parent, your own child, you're segregating, how do you expect the person to socialize in the community? And those are the few things that we also, when the child or the person is growing up, he will not be involved, he won't feel as part of the community. So, as most of these things, when they are identifying during the registrations of these beneficiaries, they trace the roots, like there was supposed to be someone with disability from this family. Are the parents willing to give the child? You are the one to give statistics of these children, like we have these persons with disabilities. I've seen most of the people, they end up leaving their homes, they end up leaving their communities, they go astray. You find them on the streets, they're begging. And if you ask, are these persons, are they from a family? Are they orphans? What could be the cause? What is making them to behave? What is making them to be on the street? You find it is the parents who have left them, who have left the responsibility of taking care of the children. In most cases, you find even the community, however much you try to do the follow-ups, like, why have you left this one aside? The parent will tell you, this one is having no use. This is not part of us. So these are the reasons as to why some of these projects, all the beneficiaries, they're not going through. And also, as I've said, still connected with the community. How are we supporting these persons with disability to achieve their targets? They may start up something, maybe goat rearing or cattle keeping. How are we supporting them to make sure those things work very well? There are some conditions whereby they will need people who are not disabled, who are physically fit, who are physically able to monitor some of these things. We are talking about rearing. What if maybe the animals, they fall into problems? What if the management is not being done well? Are we able to support them? These are some of the things we need to go through. We need to give them all the support they need. We need to encourage them. We need to engage them. That is, in whatever we are doing. One thing, people who are not disabled, who are fit, most times they don't like to associate very well with these people who have the disability. And if you leave them, will they benefit? Automatically no. And another question you posed, Why are the value deteriorating? Why are they phasing off the money from 20 million to around 2 million, and probably next financial year the money is going off? What is the impact? Is it going to impact on them positively or negatively? This is one of the things. We have seen them, they're already vulnerable, they need the support. Instead, the money was supposed to be increased, but now you are reducing, you are taking it down to zero. How are they going to survive in the community? This is one of the things. And what is the reason as to why the projects are not going through? This thing all goes back to the country not being serious about doing follow-ups. Who are they blaming? They're not giving the money direct to those ones. They have the technocrats, as I've said. They're the one on the front lead. They're the ones who knows what is happening down with the people. Why is the project failing? And these things also, it calls upon the country to start doing the right steps. The way you have given the money is the same way you are supposed to follow and see how the program has been implemented. If you are relaxed, trust me, none of these projects will prosper in the country.
True, some of these projects are not really doing well because of that area where we have identified. You see, most of these technocrats tend to now really not focus so much into that. The reasons are obvious. Most of them want to be facilitated. They want maybe additional money for them to go and do monitoring. You know, when our people, especially the leaders we have here, including even technocrats and politicians, they feel like for me to go and do monitoring, even in my own village, I need to be facilitated. Now, what is your role? Why is it that you opted for this position, especially as a technocrat? That means you have the technical knowledge, you know how to guide people. Actually, a success story that is registered in a project that is established in your area is actually one thing that you will live to tell others. That so-and-so was really very keen, he followed my instructions, and that's the impact. And that's where we'll be able to really see the need of you continuously being in that position. Because really, if people are not changing, and you feel like you are working, there's nothing that you will be able to achieve from you. Actually, the country is losing from you, not really achieving anything. If you are transforming lives positively, that is one thing that will be able to appreciate. But also, the issues to do with the dwindling money, or the money that is reducing every time, really, this is quite unfortunate, and we hope that really the persons responsible in the different ministries, especially Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development, I feel like there's need for government to inject a lot of money in that department, because we see a lot of departments in the lower local governments talking about the Community Services Department, which falls under the Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development, where you have the children under this, you have the women under this, you have the youths, and many others, including the elderly. So that department is concentrated with people who are needy of money, of social support, and many other things. So it's worth increasing that money, and also really making sure that persons with disability have that access to the money throughout, because really you realize that some of these people cannot really actually do anything using some of them do not have the hands, some of them do not have even the legs, so they are always carried. If that grant comes like routinely, just like the one for Sage, okay? Sage, whether the money is small, but once every month it comes, it gives morale for somebody to feel like I'm still living, I'm being supported. Whether it is small, but if it is kept there continuously every year, it gives hope for the people, persons with disability, to continue living with others just usual. But also the community support, just like you highlighted, is much needed in these projects. You realize that the persons with disability, maybe when they start some projects like piggery, like goat rearing, like even crop production, unfortunately, some members of the community who are said to be not having any kind of disability go and steal these things away. they say, okay, now this one here has gone to sleep. They even know at the time he has gone. And they even know that even they can pick it when he's seeing, because now he cannot run and follow you. They feel like, okay, this one here, let's go and pick it. It is government money. You see that? That is one thing we're actually frustrated, making these people not really feel like they are being accommodated. They are not being, as if they are not part of the people who are called the so-called normal. And you realize that this actually affects their morale of being together with us. Sometimes they speak a lot of bad languages just because they utter those statements, because really they feel like they are being isolated, they are being hated because of the actions. Sometimes we trigger them to really feel like they are not supposed to live on this earth, which is quite unfortunate. But also the issues of technical guidance is very important, and then providing security for these kind of projects that these people have is very important. We have seen some of them successful having animals, and also the animals increasing each and every time, and some of them have been able to, by the way, marry their wives officially, register their marriage and so on. True. They are even employing they are employed the others who have given their children to study abroad. And this is the value of inclusiveness. This is the importance that we will always see. And once we see these people coming boldly and speaking, and also sometimes also guiding us, that when we are on the road, when we are carrying these white canes, this is how you are supposed to do it. This is how. Sometimes I've learned from this that sometimes even we are making these people not really feel comfortable when accessing social services, especially health facilities, where you have beds that are raised. Now this pregnant mother who is maybe one of the disabled persons, you see this woman cannot even climb the bed. These are challenges that these people have. So if community can be able to support them, it is easier for them to really be able to feel like they are being accommodated. But also identifying these people from the grassroots. The leadership should take it seriously. Once somebody's name has featured last financial year, make sure that the one who features this financial year should be a different person. That is one thing we'll be able to reach so many lives when we are distributing resources. But if we continue to say so and so, the other time you took the one for to do piggery, today you come and pick another one, you go and start beekeeping and so on. That is quite bad, because we'll be leaving many of them outside. And there are many people who have continued to be joining the persons with disability wing. Okay, some of us have gotten accidents. You find yourself already one of the persons with disability. So there's no need of laughing at them. There's no need of maybe segregating them. So we should be able to include them in every planning stage, every kind of activity that we do. We're going to take a break from here. When we come back, we should be able to continue with the other issues that we have on table right away. Thank you.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
Grab your family the bigger feast this Christmas with Star Times upgrade to Kongere promotion. Novel customers on antenna decoder simply pay 16,000 shillings Copper Bouquet monthly subscription to enjoy basic bouquet for free. Enjoy variety of entertainment including Hello Mr. Right on Makula Chika, Kazanya Kukazanyo on Makula, animations and cartoons on Boing, series on TLC and Star Life. Even better, we have added all your favorite local channels. So make this the unforgettable holiday. More content, happier family.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
All right, welcome back from that break, and we earlier on were discussing about the persons with disabilities, their plights, and also looking at the grants that come to the persons with disabilities. How are these grants being implemented, and also have they been able to benefit from these grants? And looking at who are those benefiting under these grants, but also now looking at those kind of parameters that we're trying to gauge. What is it that we should be able to look for in terms of continuously supporting the persons with disabilities? And that's what we have been discussing. We're moving shortly to other issues. I'm still here with Peace Ochak, who is known to be Zalusiga of the greater Lirusab region and also many other parts of this country. He has continued to say he's an anthropologist.
It is not only within Uganda, also it is when you cross the side of Democratic Republic of
not
Congo.
only Democratic, I saw this same name in Nigeria.
You see,
and,
that automatically means it is an international name. It is not only a local name, though it also indicates where someone comes from. It shows the identity of the person who is bearing the name. As well, if you look at the person who is having that name, there may be some hidden secrets inside the person.
Okay, I don't want those secrets to come out. The viewer, we are moving to another issue. That is, we've seen the four-legged passengers already boarding their buses and moving elsewhere. I mean, the animals of the Balalo herdsmen are being transported to where they come from, and that is one big issue. Remember, government has been really putting a lot of energy in ensuring that the plights of the people in northern Uganda who have been complaining about the impacts of the herdsmen coming to their areas, and also the destructions caused by these animals is concerned. Government responded through the executive directive, that is executive order, that is number 3 of 2023, that is from the president of the Republic of Uganda, trying to address the pertinent issues that are of environmental, social, and police issues that were really coming to the people of northern Uganda. One of these was the issues of the invasion of northern Uganda by the cattle keepers. This actually resulted into a number of fights, a number of conflicts with the farmers. A number of issues came up, and theft was one of the biggest stories around in the whole of northern Uganda, where local animals were mixed with the exotic ones that are being kept by the Balalo herdsmen. And this was really one big issue here that was actually affecting. But now the transportation is on, and this is after the state minister for northern Uganda, that is Grace Freedom Kuchin, communicated that they are giving these people 3 days to transport all these animals, and the route chart was out, and the deadline is today. And that means today, if your animals have not boarded the lorry or the ferry, that means you will be caught off guard. And the next move is to auction your animals, and that's one big issue there. But we've seen authorities from Ajuman district complaining that those Balalo herdsmen who were in the neighboring districts of Terego, Yumbe, and so on are actually heading direct to Ajuman districts, and many others are moving at the other side of South Sudan. So what does this take to control this? And also, what does this mean is one big thing that we should be able to discuss here. Does it mean these people are rejecting to be transported back, or these were people who actually came with other people's animals? Peace. Does this justify your statement earlier on that you made that some of these people came to graze the animals of the locals? Yeah, let's start it from there.
Thank you. Before even we start from there, I'm very happy that finally the animals are on board. They are going. If you look at social media right now, it's dominated by the pictures, by the photos and videos of animals on board. And even I saw some locals, they're already jubilating, they're already dancing, and others are, who used to even curse the government, they're appreciating, they're saying at least now they will have some peace. And that is one thing we have all been crying for. We want to first see if the so-called herdsmen leave their place, how are they going to adapt? How are the locals going to maybe increase on their productivity? But as I've said, some people are diverting the routes. Others are running to South Sudan. Others are going to other parts of the districts. Why are they doing so? Most of those people are the ones who are trying to defy, that is, the directives. And the good thing, it is not affecting all the herdsmen or the Balalos, but it is affecting those who have not been coping up with the directives given to them by the president. And if they're running to South Sudan, if they run to other parts of the district, what are the authorities allowing them to do so, and why? Because the reason as to why they're being evicted from the northern part of Uganda is because of the cries from the locals, from the nationals, who are saying these people, they're causing damage to them. If they're crossing to other parts of the district, are we not going to see the same thing happening? And those who are crossing, what is the link between them and the people they're going to? Are they sharing the responsibilities of the animals? Or it is only for the so-called the herdsmen or the Balalos? These are some of the things. But as I've said, 3 days it is elapsing. And I believe if those people that are cooperating very well like they're doing, because the state minister for northern Uganda, as I've said, Kushingros Freedom, said it clearly that even though they're having some challenges, it is going through as a success, meaning they will have to sympathize with those people because I've given them 3 days. What if other factors comes in, like the transportation or the transport means are not enough? What do? They are not defying the directive right now that you have to transfer. They have coping up very well. Are you not going to give them the grace period? Maybe you extend it by transporting them for the next, maybe over the weekend, and probably you see what comes next after that one. For those who will refuse or will go against the directives, those are the people you were supposed to sell off their animals. But these ones who are coping up well, we also appreciate them. And maybe one thing, Federick, we saw an expert, that is as far as animal health is concerned. We call them a veterinary doctor. He was showing some sign that out of the 90 farms they're having, they only managed to inspect around 2 to 3 farms. What does it mean also? Does it mean they're having the foot and mouth disease, or they're not there? Now, we know the reason as to why those weeks were given, because the animals were not healthy, but you managed to only inspect, that is 2 farms. It beats my understanding.
But the fact is, the animals were not healthy. The issue was the Balalo herdsmen claimed that these animals might be having foot and mouth disease. And that was a test that the DVO actually went to investigate the matter and realized that there was no outbreak of foot and mouth disease. And that's why it gave a permission for the state minister to actually give these 3 days ultimatum for the transportation of these animals. That means if somebody is still claiming that the animals are diseased, that means it's something just to keep people in dilemma that really, as a farmer, you may not really be able to even know what your animal is suffering from. It is only the technical persons. So if the technical persons are saying no, we have not seen any kind of outbreak or disease, even any sign of disease on these animals, that means we should be able to go by what the technocrats say and also be able to accept that we are supposed to go. That is the thing. Instead of diverting people's attention around and saying, hey, even you go there and they start peeling the skin of your animal, you go with the fire and you burn some parts and say, these are signs of the disease. That will not really really work, because really once they have checked and have said no, there's no disease, you should be able to admit.
And Federick, last part, on the question you asked me about, that is the others diverting their means to South Sudan and other parts of the country. The eviction is very clear. They're evicting the herdsmen from northern Uganda. Not they're evicting them from, is it actually Lang of West Nile, but in northern Uganda general. And I'm still asking myself, why are they allowing those people to shift from one district to another, instead of first collecting them and taking them back to their home districts? If they're to shift from one district to another, it means you're not evicting them from northern Uganda. You're evicting them from those specific places where they have been staying. And still we are going to see the same things happening. The same problem, the same conflicts they have been having with the people is the same thing we're going to see elsewhere, because they're the same people who have the same behavior and they're going with the same animals to those places. So I was having in mind that let them collect all of them and transport them to those places of theirs, to their residual districts, and we come to have at least some settling down in northern Uganda. And maybe if they're to come next time, they'll come when they're organized, because those few will be remaining. They will have learned a lesson that maybe also if we misbehave next time, we are going to be taken back to other places of which they may be lacking the facilities that they need. We are always boasting about green pastures, good environment, good water that support grazing and rearing of these animals. So don't be surprised in the future they will come back. And the next step is, how strict are they going to be after evicting these people? Will they allow them to come back to the northern Uganda, or they will stop them? Will they allow new entry, or they will not allow the new entry? These are some of the things we are yet keeping our ears open to see and listen to. But all in all, let them not allow them to transfer from one district to another. Otherwise, we will see the same conflicts going on. Thank you.
Okay, locals from more districts are actually still claiming that this Balalo herdsmen actually went with their animals, and that's one big issue there. I told you that the issues of animal theft by these kind of cattle keepers has been the biggest issue that has actually been making people in northern Uganda annoyed, and also calling government to really take these people away from their areas. But also, if you are starting a business, I mean, farming is a kind of enterprise that you invest in. If you are starting an investment, first of all, you have to look at the biggest factors. Talk about land, okay? Land is one thing that you should be able to look at if you are starting an enterprise or investment. 2 is water source. 3 is the industries, availabilities of industrial areas and so on, many other things, and also targeting the market where you're going to sell this kind of product you'll be doing or venturing in. For instance, for the case of the Balalo herdsmen, if you are starting to rear animals, you should be able to know what size of land you have, and also what size of animals you should be keeping in such a piece of land. But I don't buy the idea that these people are moving because they don't have land in their original homeland. I mean home districts. That's not the region. This should be a hidden agenda. We should be able to really look at seriously if we want to really move further. Because now people are complaining that these people went with their animals. Some of them went with their goats. Some of them harvested their crops in the gardens and so on. A lot of things are happening, nasty things. Some people's wives went with them. You see this. Now, if you are coming to trade with me, and this is the kind of reputation you are living, or the image you are living, and that means really people will not be able to accept to live with this kind of people. But the good thing is a majority of them have accepted to go. And because of the strange guidelines that were released, you remember the issue of going to auction their animals. If you don't go, is one big thing that has actually kept some of them going. And that's why some of them have realized that by doing so, if they even run to the neighboring countries, it is far much better. That's why they are using the shortcut through a Juman district to South Sudan. And that's one big issue there. But the biggest issue that people are pushing is that they don't want them to be here in northern Uganda, because really northern Uganda is actually one of the areas where people most deal in farming. Farming in terms of crop production, not really keeping animals on large scale. People keep animals for home consumption, not really for business purposes. Most times you realize that it's only paid for dowries. And even Jalusiga here has two bulls, but he may not really sell them. He's waiting to marry that girl and and send the animals as dowry. But we'll leave it there. More updates will be given you on Monday in the Kokoliriko show, where we'll be able to see whether the evictions have been successful or not. That's what we'll be actually updating you on. But also after the 3 days, what is next? That's what we'll be coming to. But let's move to the story of the State House Anti-Corruption Unit, where they have said they have recovered 3.6 billion Ugandan shillings last financial year, which ended in June this year. And if you look at the statistics, since this unit was instituted in 2018, it has really realized an increase in the recoveries from 55 billion, actually 55 million Ugandan shillings to 3.6 billion Ugandan shillings. But what is actually still making rounds in the minds of many people is the issues of how genuinely are these figures reported, but also how are these recoveries done really the way people would expect. Because there are so many anti-corruption agencies, apart from the State House Anti-Corruption Agency, you have the Auditor General, that is also there. You also have the Inspectorate of Government, that is IG. Then you have many others that are there, that have been instituted by government. You have the RDCs in the lower belt, who are also there seeing what kind of activities are taking place. We will start with whether these recoveries are genuinely done, and also the figures, are they being reported exactly? Peace. What do you make of that?
Thank you, Federick.
Yes.
We're talking about recovery of money. The first thing we are asking ourselves, from how many sources have they recovered this money from? We are talking about the unity of the money recovered. From how many sectors were this money recovered, and out of how much have they recovered the money? It doesn't reach to the extent we are all waiting for. And this thing is something which is affecting the country Uganda, and we need to fight against corruption. That is one question. And I highly doubt, don't let people not be asking themselves about the figure being given, but the questions would be, out of the 100% of the money corrupted, how much, or how many percentages have they recovered, and from which departments? These are some of the things we are supposed to live on if we are to survive, that is the corruption. I'm happy the figure is increasing, as I've said, from the other billion to that. It means it is increasing, it is going high. So we wait and see. how they will proceed with the recovery of the money.
Okay, peace. I'm not contented and not convinced by this kind of figures that have been reported. First of all, if you look at the money that we lose through corruption every time, you realize that many people are arrested, many people are being investigated, and you realize that at some point, these monies are not recovered. For instance, let me take the example of the Kokoliriko secondary school saga, where a lot of 1.something billion was swindled in terms, I mean mismanaged, in terms of construction of the school block and many other things, where you realize that many people were sanctioned, investigated. At the end, nothing was recovered, but these people are back in offices. Many other cases are being investigated. They have not been really concluded. Talk about the issue of Mango Road in a rural municipality that was mismanaged. Up to now, the road is still there. The money has not been recovered. But also, if you look at the speed at which these investigations are done, it's not really quite convincing. But also, if you look at the way these people enforce or really manage the investigations, you may feel like at least if corruption was maybe given to be investigated by police, it will help. Because now you come, you don't gather adequate information, you come here and start arresting people based on what you hear from maybe somebody, the whistleblower who has informed you. You begin arresting people here, pam, pam, pam. And thereafter, you don't even get substantive evidence. And at last, you transport the person out to Kampala. The person eats well. He comes back and sits in the office. And people lose a lot of trust in these departments or agencies that are investigating these matters. And it is quite bad that we are losing a lot of billions, a lot of trillions, but we recover only a few billions.
Federick.
And then what I'm thinking about is also really what is it that we should be able to do? How much do we actually lose in terms of investigating these matters? Now, if you are fueling a car, assuming from Arua to Kampala is 500,000, maybe to put fuel. Now you are coming. You want to be accommodated here, you'll be eating food here, and also you need airtime, your allowance, maybe, for instance, if Betty Kabia is to come here, she has to eat, she has to be in a well-accommodative environment, she may not love to sleep in this 50,000 lodges and so on. She wants security, okay? Now, so we want to sleep in Le Confidentiel up there, or maybe Desert Breeze, these big hotels. So what happens is the bill is quite higher than what is following up. For instance, if it is following up a case of, for instance, maybe the stealing or diversion of motorcycles, a motorcycle might be 5.6 million, and they are following it from Kampala. You fuel at 500,000, your allowance, and many other things. But now, you come and arrest this technocrat, you take him there, you bring him back. And thereafter you say investigation is on. The matter has been handled.
Federick,
there's no conclusion.
Maybe to interject a bit.
Yes.
When you're talking about recovery of this embezzled fund, are they really recovering it from a bigger perspective, or are they going to recover it from guys who have embezzled large amount of money? We are talking about billions being embezzled. It's not only those amounts, it starts right from 1,000, 2,000 being embezzled. If you are trying to recover funds from these lower people, maybe someone has embezzled 1 million and you are busy running after the person up and down, left and right, you are going out of the 1 million, you may recover 500, right? But you're leaving the other person who have embezzled maybe 2 billion. So even if you are to recover all these monies for these people who have been embezzling 1 million, 2 million, 3 billions, 3 millions, in total, your total at the end of the recovery will go to 1 billion, still meaning you have run short of that person who have embezzled 3 billion. So my urge to the IG or to the anti-corruption units, let them first take priorities in recovering the big amounts of money being embezzled in the country. If you are to increase if they are to improve on their recovery plan. Because trust me, they always say it is very easy to recover a small amount of money other than recovering big amount of money, and it comes back to us.
Please, what is small money in Uganda?
Small money, I'm giving an example. Federick, okay, let's assume the government is trying to give us money, me and you. They said for me they're going to give me maybe 1 million, but for you they're going to give you 5 billion. Already that's a big difference. Here I'm having 1 million, for you having 5 billion. What can 1 million do, and what can 5 billion do? Let's take service delivery in a hospital or in a health center. If I'm to use 1 million and I put it in a health center, what is the impact? And if I'm to put 1 billion or 5 billion in a health center, what is the impact? That's the difference I'm talking about. Small money and big money. Okay, let me talk about the value now. Let me use monetary terms. Value of money being embezzled by people in the country. There are some people, the technocrats, for them they're embezzling big amount of money. And the more they embezzle, the more resources which is needed by someone to maybe go and do the follow-ups. Yeah, because if I've embezzled 1 million, you can use these other lower anti-corruption units to come and investigate me. At the end, the whole bill may run out to 500. But that's someone who have embezzled 5 billion. It means the top have to come in, and the process is long, as I've said. A lot of money is being spent on accommodation, on transportations. So these are some of the things we need to go through and check if the country is to recover big amount of money. Let them take priorities in the monetary value of the money embezzled. Otherwise, they will still continue to recover this small amount of money. And trust me, that is the belief people have in this country, Uganda, that people who are always embezzling large quality or large monetary values, they're not being investigated so much if you compare it to people deep down here who are embezzling small amounts of money. They always say people who are misusing small funds, they're followed thoroughly compared to those ones up. And we are still asking ourselves, why is this trend? Why is this thing happening? Why can't they first start up, then they come down? Otherwise, we are going to see a lot of money being lost in terms of corruption and embezzlement of money if they don't change the system of following people who have embezzled bigger money or compared to these ones who have embezzled small amount of money. Why? The guys who are embezzling big amount is because they have access to the money compared to these ones down. So let's try to harmonize these things, and the anti-corruption or the IG, they will gain the trust from the people. Thank you.
Okay, Peace, I think we'll be letting you go shortly after this. Really, we'll have the security people come in to address us and also give us detailed analysis of the security situation in the festive season. Shortly, we'll have them here and also have other issues discussed with them. But we'll continue with this issue of the IG or the State Health and Corruption Unit. But also, for you as the viewer, you should be able to really understand that it's our role or everyone's responsibility to ensure that the corrupt are eliminated in our communities, okay? It starts from your village, it starts from your home, it starts from wherever you are. Even in the churches, there's a lot of corruption nowadays. Christians openly come out and say, no, the accountability is not really matching. We have added figures here, and last week you did not give us accountability of how much effort we put. So these are things that we should be able to be vigilant of and really be able to have it next, really make sure that we have transparency and accountability in every sector to ensure that really we look like other countries, like Seychelles, okay? That is a country that has at least made sure that corruption is not really so much into their economy. So if we don't fight it together, we'll not really be able to have a developed country. Uganda will remain to be a lower income status, at a lower income status, and yet some of us are progressing well when we are not even corrupt. Let's take a break from here. Thank you.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
Family the bigger feast this Christmas with StarTimes upgrade to Kongere promotion. Novel customers on antenna decoder simply pay 16,000 shillings, Copper Bouquet monthly subscription to enjoy basic bouquet for free. Enjoy variety of entertainment including Hello Mr. Right on Makula Chika, Kazanya Kukazanyo on Makula, animations and cartoons on Boeing, series on TLC and Star Life. Even better, we have added all your favorite local channels. So make this the unforgettable holiday. More content, happier family.
All right, welcome back from that commercial break. It's an emergency and also like a breaking news that we have been able to be joined by the Police Public Relations Officer, Western Region, that is Superintendent of Police, Joseph Nagutia, who is right here in the studios. We'll be discussing a lot of issues to do with the festivities and also the security ahead of that. And I'll be able to just move briefly to some of these issues. Josephine, you're most welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, that is her. And also, let's start it from what the situation is like in Western Region, but also we'll be moving to others later on. Maybe start from there. Yes.
Okay, thank you so much. In West Nile region, generally the situation is calm and normal. Our various commanders are doing their level best to ensure that they secure this festive season. And recently we had a regional meeting with all the DPCs, all the OC stations, all the district CID officers and crime intelligence officers to prepare them on how they are going to secure this festive season. So our regional police commander advised them to have quick response to incidences, because that is where we can be able to reassure the public of our commitment to secure them in cases of emergencies. And in response to that, each district has been advised to create quick response force that will be using motorcycles to move around the district, ready to respond to incidences. And you know, motorcycles are not quite expensive. They take less fuel and they can be able to enable officers access every village with ease. So because of that, they will be used, at least each district shall be having over 6 motorcycles, and they will be fully armed, equipped, ready to handle emergencies. And we believe that will help in taking some of these crimes like robberies, thefts, burglaries, and breakings of all categories, as well as emergencies like accidents. So that alone will enable our people enjoy a peaceful Christmas season. Besides that, we have also been able to circulate police emergency toll-free lines, and they are toll-free lines because you can call them without airtime. And on any network, you can be able to access these lines. And these are the usual 999, and then we have 112, we have 911. All these lines are ready for the public to call, and we shall be having officers at the various counters ready to receive calls from these lines day and night, so that they will be able to communicate emergencies for quick response. So besides that, our officers are also doing covert and overt actions so as to prevent crime in this festive season. And of course, covert actions which are not supposed to be seen by the public, and they are mainly done by the intelligence officers. And then overt actions are openly seen by the public, like patrols, motorized foot patrols in uniform, so that we're able to fight and avert crime this festive season. Yes.
Okay, that is it for those of you who have other issues and you feel like your LC1 will not be able to report this to police. You can use those toll-free lines that she has just mentioned, 999, and then the others.
112.
112 and
911.
911. Those are very, very important in terms of response. If you call them, at least it is picked from anywhere at any part of this country. It will be really reached. So that is very important. We should be able to use those lines. And one other issue, I've been hearing rumorly, I don't know if this is true, that there's already an emergency response team that has been formed. The region, is this true? And also, how will this be able to respond to the issues of maybe like emergency in nature? Yes, in terms of security.
Yeah, as I said earlier on, we have already formed up emergency response force, and these are officers who are going to be on standby, ready to respond to incidences. So any emergency that will come to the attention of our officers, maybe through calls, through physical reporting, our our response team will always be ready to respond to such incidences. And as I said earlier on, they'll be using motorcycles. They're not going to use vehicles. And you know, with motorcycles, there are quite many. Secondly, they can be able to reach up to deeper parts of villages without any challenge. And they are cost effective. They don't take a lot of fuel. And because of that, our officers will be using these motorcycles to respond to incidences quickly within the shortest possible time. Because in our recent preparatory meeting ahead of festive season, of commanders were told that yes, incidents may happen, but the speed at which they respond to incidences matter. They should ensure that they respond as fast as possible in order to manage such crimes as well as to avert crime. In other words, their actions should be able to effectively manage crime and prevent reoccurrence of crime in future.
Okay, will this be practical? Because we've been seeing that being one of the vices, that people are able to lose trust in the police and so on. The issues of response has been the biggest issue. But as you're answering this, let's look at whether there's at least something secured for that task force to really work on. In terms of fuel, the major issue has been fuel. Then the other issues have been the issues to do with transport, and then sometimes the vehicles are not enough, sometimes the personnel are not enough. So are we ready to respond timely in terms of all those factors I mentioned?
We are very ready in terms of all those areas that you've mentioned. in terms of fuel, in terms of the means, that is the motorcycles. We also have vehicles, but of course we have many more motorcycles. That's why the quick response team shall be using motorcycles to quickly respond to incidences, because the motorcycles are many and we have enough fuel to cater for them. But of course we have also motorized patrols. We shall have commanders in vehicles to follow up motorcycles in cases of emergencies. Yes.
So in terms of personnel, how many do we have now in the region? Because there have been a lot of issues to do with the number of security personnel, especially the police, deployed at even sub-county level. I was in the Uriama sub-county last Saturday, and I was informed that they only have one police officer who is at the sub-county. So it's quite difficult for them to actually respond to some of the cases that happen. Internal conflicts, you know, that is one of the prone areas where refugees are there, and so on. Sometimes anytime fights can escalate. So in terms of personnel, how much do we have, how many do we have, and also how do we make sure that with the number we have, how do we team up to ensure that we are at least safe?
We have enough personnel to cater for the security needs in this festive season and beyond. And of course, it's not always the number of officers that matters. It is the skills, the coordination they have with the sister forces, with the local leaders, that will make them secure the season. So the numbers, the physical numbers, may not be the security itself, but it's the method of operation, the skills and the coordination they have with other sister forces that will enable us to really be at the top of the season, especially as far as crimes are concerned. So we are already ahead of that. We have enough manpower. We have enough plans to coordinate where need be or where some few gaps will exist. So for now, so far so good.
Okay, yeah, that's good, and very good information coming from the security department. And as we gear towards the Christmas season and also the New Year celebrations, there's a lot that is actually coming on board. And we've seen this over the years, that fireworks has been one of the easiest ways you see a lot of these people who have ill intentions in the society come out boldly to actually spoil the peace of Christ that always comes amidst people. Now, how secured are our borders? Because we border two neighboring countries directly, that is DRC and South Sudan. How secure are our borders right now as we attract more visitors from these neighboring countries?
Our borderlines are secure. We have already planned with the sister forces to offer both covert and overt actions, to take covert and overt actions so as to secure our borderlines. I may not really disclose how we are securing the borderline, because some of the actions are not supposed to be known to the public, but we are already taking charge of that with our the sister forces in UPDFs and in other security agencies. And we only appeal to the LOCs manning the border areas, or the LOCs, the communities along the border areas, to be vigilant and security conscious and report suspicious activities, movements by suspicious looking people to the nearest authority for quick action, because we have very many porous borderlines where people enter and exit out of the country. So for that matter, we may not deploy officers in each point just to wait for eventualities. So our officers will be moving, they will be doing patrols, both on foot and motorized. And then, of course, we have shared our intelligence, we have shared our toll-free lines to members of public. We urge the communities, the local leaders to share information as quickly as possible so that we are able to avert crimes and we're able to also prevent entry of suspicious people with their suspicious activities into the country. And of course, this comes with the recent terror alerts. And you know, time and again, the world has been issuing terror alerts. And you know, terrorism is a global kind of thing where the whole world is fighting against terrorism. And as Ugandans, we are not excluded from that. We also need to be alert, we need to be vigilant to prevent acts of terrorism in the country. And for that matter, we really appeal to members of public to be vigilant and security conscious in their surroundings, wherever they are, wherever they are doing business transactions, wherever they are passing their laser, they should not be taken up fully. They should also mind of their surroundings and report anything which they don't understand or activities which they don't understand to the nearest authority for quick action. And in so doing, you know, in this festive season, we are going to have so many events. There are so many events, religious, laser, and so on, which are going to take place. And so we really appeal to the managers, the organizers, to cooperate and coordinate with the security agencies within their areas so that they are able to secure people during such events, because terrorists have often taken advantage of such events that gather so many people in the same areas to cause maximum mayhem amongst members of the public. So let us be security vigilant, and then organizers and managers should liaise with the area police commanders to secure members of the public. And they should also go ahead to have their own security measures, especially to safeguard their places, like public places, their discotheques, their bars, maybe events where they're organizing events that will attract so many people. We also have churches or religious activities that will attract so many people. So some of the measures they can put in place include having metal detectors at the entries where people are properly checked. And then they can also have hand searches by their own security team who are supposed to be trained to search people so that such objects which may not be good, which may be harmful, can be detected and removed in advance. Of course, we have walkways. There are those that have got walkways where they pass, where the dangerous items can easily be detected at the entry. And these are some of the measures. And of course, we have always advised them to coordinate with the area security. In case of any problem, they should invite police, they should invite any other security agency to their side to come and advise, to come and assist in managing security of such big events. And then to the members of public generally, you know, this is the season where so many people are working hard to make ends meet this festive season. And of course, criminals as well looking for resources to make ends meet in this festive season. And you know, whereas many people have their genuine ways of making money, of getting resources for the celebrations, for criminals, they will always go for criminal methods of getting money or of getting resources for the celebrations. And that is when cases of robberies, cases of thefts, cases of break-ins, burglaries, activities of conmen, circulation of fake currencies, and so on will be many in this season. So for that matter, we really advise members of public generally to also be security conscious of some of these characters. They should have proactive measures of preventing some of these crimes. These proactive measures are measures which they can apply before the occurrence of the crime. One, they should ensure that they secure their homes. They should have proper locks at home to prevent cases of burglaries and housebreaking. They should also have proper locks and offer security at their business premises so that they are not broken into. They should also avoid moving with a lot of cash on their bodies in order to not to be robbed. And of course, they should not expose the amount of money they have to any member of public, because you may not trust who is who. That's why some of these robbery cases where a lot of money has been robbed, we believe some of the planners are within the inside, they are inside or in-house planners, people who have been knowing that this person actually has the money, he is going to move this money from one point to another. Some of these people are the ones who liaise with outsiders to rob their own people of such a large cash of money. So let us be careful not by exposing. Let's not expose a lot of money that we're having to the eyes of the people with whom we work or people with whom we stay. You never know. The Satan or the devil can use any of the people that you trust to turn around to rob this money from you. So
okay,
those are
yes.
So those are
well,
some of the
yes.
proactive measures.
Okay, we will continue. We're always ready to continue, but we're time back. We hope that dear viewer, you'll be able to really get us again. I will be bringing her again next week. Let me have your last words.
Yeah,
in 30 seconds, yes.
Yeah, my last word is that let us cooperate, let us share timely information in ensuring that this Christmas season becomes one of the best secure and crime-free seasons we have ever done it in West Nile region. And I believe this season, when we cooperate, we do our roles well, then we shall have one of the best seasons we have ever enjoyed in the region. Okay. Thank you so much.
All right, thanks for your coming and also knocking our doors to pass this message about the emergency toll-free lines. Is very, very important for everyone, but also if you're waiting to hear whether there will be fireworks or not, this will be next week. We'll be able to bring you that news as it will be here live on the show. And we are going to the next program, that is the news in Lubarati, that will be brought to you by Mukla Lawrence and his team. And also behind the camera is Dijon Pro, and also my producer Aldo is behind the other side. I've been here with Josephine Aguchia, who is the Police Public Relations Officer, West Nile region. My name is Federick Dramadri. I'm out of the studios. Thank you.